Hey y'all, it's Rick here with Uncommon Communion. Yeah, it's another morning recording because last night I was really whooped. And I mean, underscore really. It has been a week. I'm glad it's Friday. And most of all, I am glad that it is spring. Woohoo! Spring, yay! Or if you're in the Southern Hemisphere watching this, fall, autumn. Yeah, so I put this shirt on today. I thought it was a good spring-like shirt. Trevor Hall, good guy, good singer. Um, yeah, well, happy spring. Let's begin as we always begin, especially on this pivotal day for those of us, all of us, who are planetary pilgrims. We remember that we are always and everywhere in the holy presence of the more and each other. So today, spring always gives me hope, right? No matter what insanity is going on in the world. And it just keeps getting crazier and crazier every day, doesn't it? Yeah. I mean, it's almost even staggering to think how insane the leader is, the GOP, the MAGAites, how the lying and the deception and the lack of plan, the lack of vision. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And yet, so does the world. So does the movement of this planet around the sun, which to me, again, is what grounds us literally on this earth. Those of us, all of us who are earthlings, right? And also, it's what really matters. Not that any of all of this stuff is absolutely insane. It's there's death and pain and just bonkers bananas. I mean, the words I think we're getting to the point, y'all, where there aren't even words to describe this because we are so far past any type of reasonability. I mean, all we can say is that we are seeing what it looks like when there's insanity, dementia, unbridled narcissism, sociopathy, all of that. And this is what it looks like. And it's pretty ugly. And y'all, it's going to get uglier. I mean, this Trump has always been a tragic figure, and tragedies do not end well. You look at the Shakespearean tragedies, and there's always a lot of bodies on the stage at the end. And that's what we're seeing. That is what we are seeing. So I don't want to dwell on that. I want to, again, find and draw the hope that this changing season gives us. I look across my windows over there, and I see some daffodils coming up in my neighbor's yard, just a few. And I was on a hike this past Sunday with my good friend Mark, and we saw wild daffodils and we saw the buds beginning to break. We saw eagles. Go back and check out that post if you haven't. And all of those things are signs that we have turned a corner. We have passed a point in this annual journey that this planet, our home, makes around the sun, right? So I love some spring in part because it is the furthest day away from winter, right? On this day, we are the furthest away from winter. And winter has its charms, no doubt. And I've actually, as I've gotten older and wiser, I think, and more mature, I've come to appreciate winter more. And yet I love the light and the life and the richness of spring and summer and the daylight seasons, right? I think those are just that's it for me. That's it. Psalm 79. I have to look up at the Psalm calendar. I've written the days on the calendar. It's kind of a long one. I do need to get out the door here. I'm recording this before heading out to my last day of a full 5 days of training this week, y'all. And I wanted to, it's a psalm fairly similar to kind of what we have seen before, where the psalmist is crying out against the enemies, and really, again, we've seen this, where they're saying it's God, and it's God doing this, it's God's anger doing this. And so it's a lament against what the enemies are doing, and it's also a plea and a cry for help to God, so that God can relent from the anger that God is showing, the perceived anger that God is showing. And again, we've talked about this. I don't think this is accurate. This is not the God of Jesus. The Abba of Jesus is not this God, this wrathful, angry God, right? So the verse that actually stood out to me in this is verse 3. Or actually, I'm sorry, I just lost my place. I'm using the printed version today. So it is verse 3, and this is going to be this is a very short one. I'm going to read. It says, "You have made us look like fools to the nearby tribes. They'd laugh and treat us with scorn and disrespect." So, yeah. Um, did you see on Thursday T Rump in the Oval Office, that bling-filled golden toilet bowl of uh, of where he was sitting next to the prime minister, I believe, of Japan, and he went there. He said the dumbest, most asinine, most insulting thing about surprise attacks and Pearl Harbor. Yeah, if you haven't read about it, y'all, it is just bonkers, and just another sign of how stupid and insane everything is here. And I pulled out that verse, and I'm going to highlight that verse in the title here today, because it's not God that has made us look like fools. We've done this to ourselves. We have, again, a significant number of people in this country chose this man, even though we knew what he did in his first term, right? And a significant number of people, especially elected representatives, are allowing this to continue. And that is foolish. That is stupid. That is insane. I mean, the words, again, don't even begin to talk about what this is. And yes, we are looking like fools to the nearby tribes, the other nations. They are laughing and treating us with scorn and disrespect. That's true. That is happening. I also think they are shocked and disappointed, because for so long, America represented something else. We had our problems, we had our Vietnams, we had, we weren't perfect, but yet there was a sense that we were just and fair, that we celebrated democracy, that we were caring about the world, that we were not foolish and stupid and aggressive and all of those things. And I think there is, scorn certainly in the other tribes, the other nations, but I think also sadness. And that's where we are today, y'all. You know, I hear people talk about it's going to take generations to rebuild this. It is, and we're not out of the woods. The midterms that are coming in 230-ish days. I mean, they're going to be pivotal, absolutely pivotal, and that's going to show us which way we're going to go. And the jury is still out on that. So. All right, y'all, I got to get to work. Be sure to make plans. A week from tomorrow, the 28th, is the next No Kings rallies and protests. Last I saw, there were up to 3,000 locations that they're going to be doing this. So chances are that there's not just one, but multiple ones around where you live. And I know where I live here in Columbus, they're staggering the start times so people can go to multiple ones. So check that out, y'all. I want to read a prayer by the man himself, Father Ed, Planetary Pilgrim. Spring. This is a good prayer for the start of spring. God of all seasons, with artistic splendor, you have given us an overture to the resurrection of your Son and the resurrection of spring. From the cold tomb of winter, with joy, I greet the coming of flowers, the return of birds, as we eagerly await, the feast of the resurrection of Christ. Remove from our hearts on this holy day any division or discrimination that keeps us frozen in separation from others, and make us one with all creation that sings the song of springtime. All right, y'all. Blessing and good. Be bold, be well, hold fast, y'all. Happy spring.